When looking back at the Saints Row series, you can say that one character has simply been through it all. The highs and lows of being an up-and-comer in a gang, to being the leader of that gang, to becoming a pop icon, to then becoming the President of the United States. There's simply one name that comes into our heads. Well, actually, there isn't a name for him. Well, not technically, but we'll get into that. So who am I referring to? Well, none other than the Playa. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, as you sit there helplessly quarantined by the system, we will dive into the life and the history of the Playa.
What's the rush?
I've been cooped up on death row and that bitch has been laid out in a coma.
We definitely need to remind motherfuckers who we are.
And that can't wait until after dinner?
No.
You two haven't changed at all.
Okay, so before we take things way back, let's get some general knowledge first. The Playa is the character you control in all the numbered Saints Row games, so that does not include Get Out of Hell. I just saved you from commenting that, so fuck off. Anyways, the Playa lacks a definitive physical appearance based solely on the fact that you can make him or her, after Saints Row 1, look however you please. In terms of name, the Playa does not have a given one throughout the series, but has been referred to as Playa, Son, and Boss throughout the games. When portrayed on TV or radio, however, he has also graciously been given the names Local Psychopath and simply the leader of the 3rd Street Saints. It's now time to get into the meat and the potatoes, or as I prefer to call it, the black tar heroin. In Saints Row 1, the Playa is a new recruit for the Saints, remaining quiet throughout the majority of the game, not questioning any orders given to him, although there are a select few times where the Playa actually does speak.
Yo, can you speed this shit up? I wanna go to Freckle Bitches.
Okay, that's understandable. Let's go to Freckle Bitches.
Hope you don't mind hepatitis.
Okay, that's kinda weird, but boss, how you feeling, man? You good?
I got ran over by a motherfucking truck, what'd you think?
Oh god, was that voice acting? Please, for the love of God, never do that again. So in Saints Row 1, you're caught in the crossfire of some gang-related turf war when the current leader of the Saints, Julius Little, arrives with Troy Bradshaw to save your life. From this point on, you are offered a grunt role in the Saints. You start your way up from the very bottom, even being canonized in the process. Afterwards, you start to work on the individual gangs of the city, the Rollers, the Vice Kings, and the Los Carnales. Sorry, Dex. All get taken down with you playing a pivotal role in all of these occurrences. This leads to you becoming Julius's right-hand man and seemingly being on top of the criminal world. However, this comes to a screeching halt when you are blown to pieces in a boat explosion. It's now Saints Row 2 time, and a lot has changed for the Playa. This time around, you have 6 different voices to choose from and 2 different genders. It's a shame they didn't include Apache binary transsexuals as an option, but we'll let it slide this time. In Saints Row 2, the Playa has now transformed into a no remorse, extremely vicious and cold-hearted person, quite possibly the only person in the series to rival Johnny Gat on the psychopath spectrum. However, the character is very deeply layered as he still possesses many heroic qualities, despite his sadistic nature, such as going to extreme lengths for his friends, leading by example, and feeling regret for several actions such as the burning of Shivington and allowing Shondi and Viola to die in the SR3 ending. It all starts with you waking up from a coma from the explosion that ended SR1. You break out of the prison that you were held in, and with the help of Carlos, you soon realize the Saints are nothing anymore. This doesn't stop the Playa from getting right back in the action and recruiting lieutenants for the Saints and appointing them different gang responsibilities, just like how Julius did in SR1. One old friend you meet up with in the early goings of the game is Johnny Gat, in which you save him from being on death row.
Shit, about time your burnt ass woke up.
You okay, Johnny?
Yeah, aside from almost getting sent to the chair, I'm fucking great. Hey, you look different. You do something with your hair?
You ready to get out of here?
After this point, you start to slowly get a gang together and start taking out the gangs in whichever order you please. During these times, the Playa goes through a handful of emotional moments, like having to mercy kill Carlos after he is dragged on the pavement by the Brotherhood, or witnessing the death of Johnny Gat's wife Aisha in front of his very eyes. You even get to finally get your revenge on Julius for attempting to kill you after 5 long years in an intense one-on-one moment. After taking out the gangs of the city and once again rising to the very top of the criminal world of Stillwater, Playa's last remaining objective is to take out Altor and kill Dane Vogel, which you ultimately successfully do. Let's pause right before getting to Saints Row 3. Although the story portrays the Playa as a cold-hearted, sadistic, crazed killer, there are still moments where he offers some humor to mix things up to show you that he actually does have layers.
That's so?
I'm afraid it is.
Who the fuck are you?
They call me Mr. Sunshine.
Well, listen, Sunshine. I don't care how fucked up your face is. I ain't scared of you or that other asshole.
Pity. Gentlemen, I'm through meeting with my adversary. If you please, dispose of this trash.
Of course, General.
You're a general? Did you hear that? That asshole thinks he's a...
So where does the Playa go from here? Well, it's now time for Saints Row the 3rd, and years after the events of SR2, the Playa along with the Saints are a household brand name A-list celebrities in Stillwater, and have partnered up with the Altor Corporation. The Playa, Shondi, Johnny Gat, and Josh Burke attempt to rob a Stillwater National Bank as a publicity stunt, but end up getting arrested by SWAT. The bank was owned by none other than Philippe Loren, and the Playa finds himself in a similar spot to when he first met Mero of the Brotherhood. Loren offers the Playa to share the profits with each other, in which you decline and break free from the plane, landing in a totally new city called Steelport. In this new city, you are drained of all your money and seem to have to start from the bottom once again, and rise up to the top to get your revenge on Philippe. You recruit new lieutenants once again, like Kinsey, Angel, and Zemos, albeit a little bit wackier than in a tone of SR2. You can get the sense in this game the boss is already a little bit different in the way he acts.
Whatever works for you, man. I'm just saying. I like my place to have working heat.
So you hate discomfort. That's the sort of weakness that luchadors will capitalize on.
In SR3, the Playa has 7 different personalities you can choose from, and he is portrayed as being arguably less susceptible to random bursts of violence due to already having the power and wealth they desired. This is very prevalent when comparing these two scenarios. After taking down one of the enemy gangs in SR3, you simply let the leader of the Deckers, Matt Miller, go if he promises to cut ties with the Syndicate. Flashback a couple years ago when you finally get your shot at Mr. Sunshine and his severed head ends up on a meat factory conveyor belt. Yeah. We'll just let that one sink in. Regardless, you still end up taking the gangs down, although in this city, the 3 gangs are pretty much molded into one giant empire called the Syndicate. You kill Philippe, you spare Matt Miller, and the Playa gets a critical choice to kill Kilbane and let Shondi, Viola, and Bert die, or save them and let Kilbane live. The canon ending is that you save Shondi, so that's the one that the history will be based off of. During this finale, the anti-gang unit, Stag, is caught in the middle of everything, and the player is not only opposed by the luchadors, but Stag very heavily as well. After defeating Kilbane on Murder Brawl 31, the final battle can see the Playa battling both Stag and the luchadors. You then go on to save Shondi, Viola, and Bert. The Saints are declared heroes for saving the Steelport monument, and after this the Playa can be seen leading a group of Saints on Mars, in which later on it is revealed that they are just shooting a movie. It's now time for Saints Row 4, and you are the leader of the new gang called the 4th Street Big Black Hawks. Okay, no, that's not how it goes. You are now the President of the United States, and after helping to defuse a nuclear bomb that was targeted at Washington, D.C., you are elected 5 years later to become the President. Aliens end up attacking, stealing each Saint one by one. The Playa eventually ends up one-on-one with Zinyak, but is defeated by his alien superhuman powers. Afterwards, the Playa escapes with the help of Kinsey and Vice President Keith David, who is also the voice actor for Julius Liu. After Zinyak destroys the planet...
Huh. I always thought Nightblade was just a vampire show.
Oh no, my friend. It is the essence of drama. Hey, you need to take that?
You know anyone with the 217 area code?
Is that St. Louis?
Probably telemarketer.
Oof. Ignore.
Voicemail?
You want me to leave a message? It's all gone.
The Playa Playa goes on to save each of the captured saints, including one Johnny Gat, who appears to still be alive.
Fuck. Yes. Shiny. What the hell?
You end up having to save Kinsey in a 1950s era nightmare you've had before on the ship. Playa then leads a charge against Zinyak to overload the simulation, and after a lengthy battle with Zinyak, the Playa beheads him, takes over the Zin Empire for himself. You also learn that the Zin have a time travel machine. At this point in the series, you can tell right away that the Playa has a seriously different attitude than what he is used to portraying. Take a look at these two clips, starting with your SR4 persona.
Where the hell are... fuck me.
I should have realized a prison of peace would never hold a sociopath like yourself.
I'm more of a puckish rogue.
A rose by any other name.
Are you trying to kill me or sleep with me? Charming. See, there you go with those mixed messages again.
Let's listen up. Johnny got laid out by one of the Ronin.
That mean I get a promotion?
Don't get too excited, asshole. Gat'll be back up in no time.
Yo, that came out wrong.
Just shut up and listen. Gat was looking into a Japanese crime boss called the Kuji. This guy's coming into town soon and I want to know when.
Got it.
Don't fuck this up, Pierce. I'm not in a good mood.
As you can tell, the way you acted in SR2 varies greatly from the way you act in SR3 and 4, thus solidifying that the Playa goes through a big character change throughout the franchise. All in all, you make an appearance in the starting cutscene of Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, and that's where the story ends, for now. Something smells fishy. You guys smell that, or is it just me? It's almost like I can smell that it's time for your fun facts. In SR1, the Playa is mostly silent for the game, although he has 4 lines. You cannot choose his voice, however, his voice does change depending on what race you make him.
Actually, they're these seasons new.
Bullshit, that's last year's fall collection.
Actually, they're these seasons new.
Hey, bullshit, that's last year's fall collection.
Actually, they're these seasons new.
Bullshit, that's last year's fall collection.
Yo, can you speed this shit up? I want to go to Freckle Bitches.
Hey, yo, can you speed this shit up? I want to go to Freckle Bitches.
Yo, can you speed this shit up? I wanna go to Freckle Bitches.
I got ran over by a motherfucking truck. What do you think?
I got ran over by a motherfucking truck. What you think?
I got ran over by a motherfucking truck. What'd you think?
Yeah, as you can tell, I don't think that Hispanic voice actor is gonna be getting a call back anytime soon. In the activity Snatch, the Playa reveals he grew up in Stillwater and would go to the massage parlor often. During development, the Playa's name was Mikey, but was pronounced Mickey. The Playa is also known as Boss, Prisoner, the Butcher of Stillwater, that mute motherfucker, Local Psychopath, Mr. President, Nolan, and PC. It is said that the Playa has a mother, father, uncle, and cousin. The real reason why the player was kept alive for so many years in the coma was because the ex-Saints member Troy Bradshaw, who is now the chief of police, refused to take you off life support. It is known that the Playa's biggest fear is a peaceful world full of order and restrictions. In the mission King Me, the Playa reveals he didn't speak much in SR1 because he was scared. Well, there you have it guys, the official history of the Playa. Feel free to comment on who you'd like to see next, as it's time to push this series into full throttle. Expect more from your main Papa RPG, and as always, peace out!